Hello. I got a funny story. So went to London for my kid's birthday, and I booked in advance a Just Park thing, and I thought, great, it's near enough down the road from the Natural History Museum in London. Turned out it was the Iranian embassy, so obviously it turned up, and lots of protests. We had to be escorted out by police. They always thought we were dodgy looking. They generally obviously had to keep repeating the questions of why we were there, who the fuck booked it, and then got to the flat I had to book, and it's next door to Venezuela embassy. So that was fun. Yeah, what a lovely start to a weekend away. And then luckily when we were leaving, the protesters hadn't started or anything. So that was fun. But my kids had a good old time. And saw Joe Wicks, prick, at the Natural History Museum. I fucking hate him. And really shit pickpocketer guy tried to creep around the women's toilets and tried to pickpocket me. And I laughed in his face and told him I'll beat the shit out of him if he fucking touches me. So that was fun. Yeah, I was in the toilet for 20 minutes because I got little kids and stuff, and obviously they're in a cubicle on their own. So I stand outside the door when it's locked and put my foot under the door so they know it's me, and I carry on talking. And this guy just keep sneaking next to me. And he wasn't actually going anywhere. He scared the shit out of me. And I turned around, shouted in his face. I went, what the fuck are you doing? And he was like, oh, I need to go to the toilet. I said, this is just the women's toilets only. And he goes, yeah, but the men's are shut. I said, oh, right, okay. He said, right, well, the toilet you're standing in front of, I've been here for 15 minutes and no one's come in or out of that toilet. It was locked from the inside. I said, so either someone's dead in there or the staff have locked it. But there are 10 other cubicles there, look, with the doors open. Go use them. And he's like, no, I'm going to use this. And I said, you're acting fucking weird. What the fuck are you up to? And he went, no, I'm just going to use this toilet. I said, there's 10 other available there. What the fuck? So then, he proceeded to, every time I turned my back away from him to talk to my child through the door, I turned around and he was really up behind me. And then he would quickly shuffle sideways again, away from me. And I went, I've got nothing to fucking steal. I've literally just got a kid's goodie bag that is on my shoulder right now. I didn't have my phone or anything on me. In the bag anyway, I had my phone in my pocket, in the front, on the other side of me. I didn't have keys, I had nothing. Everything was in the car park. And I said, so if you're trying to steal for me, you're literally just going to get a Minecraft fucking poster and a badge from the Natural History Museum. I said, there's nothing to rob from me. And he was just laughing. And I said, yeah, you're really fucking creeping me out, mate. Either use the fucking toilet or we're going to have fucking problems. So then my child said, I'm finished now. And I said, okay, mummy's going to have to come in for a minute. And she went, okay. And I said, yeah. So the guy said next to me, can I use that toilet now? And I said, what toilet? He goes, your toilet. I said, I don't fucking think so. So then I went in, rammed my child, pushed her back into the toilet, locked it. And I said, we're going to have to call for help because there's a man out there who's been stood next to me for the whole 20 minutes you've been in here. And he hasn't moved. He's either trying to rob me or he's going to be up to something else. So I had my phone in my pocket, quickly text someone I was with, and I said to the dad of my kids, I said, you need to come in the girls' toilets now, just come in now. So then I could hear him, what's going on? I said, hi. Yeah, he is standing there, not fucking moving, but every time I move away from him or put my back away, he's going, I'm not doing anything, I'm waiting for the toilet. I said, look, can you fucking see those little cubicles? He goes, yeah. So what's your fucking problem, mate? Then a woman come in. She was like, what the hell's going on in here? I said, oh, I asked him to come in here. And then I said, but do you know what the fuck he's doing in here? And she went, okay. She went to the toilet. I said, right, I'm getting a fucking member of staff. Could not find any fucking members of staff at all in the centre. It was like a civic centre or something. And couldn't find any fucking members of staff anywhere. No security, no nothing. We're fucked. Any fucker can walk in. And I said, can you stay just hover around the girls' toilet in case he tries to do anything to that woman? So the woman comes out. He's pretending to wash his hands and he fucks off straight away because he could see us hovering. Then I said, I'm so sorry to scare you. It was the fact that he was stood next to me for 20 minutes while my child was in the toilet, and he would not move from that locked door, saying he was going to use that toilet, even though all those cubicles were free. Even when you went in, they were all for free. And she was like, yes. And she went, what the fuck? I said, yeah. So I said, so I don't know if he was pickpocketing or he is trying to do even more horrendous shit to us. I'm not sure. But that's why he's hovering. This is why kid's dad is hovering around. I said, it wasn't to scare you, I'm sorry about that. So she said, well, I've been working in the library and there's staff in there, so I will tell them. And I said, well, I think he's just fucked off in the library. And she went, perfect, I'll fucking get the staff now and hopefully someone will turn up. Because unfortunately, this was a weekend, so I have no clue. I've never been to that centre before. It's just because the car park is underneath. That's why I parked there. It was near to the event we went to. So it was just like, this is fucked. Like, any shit could happen. And no one could do anything about it because there are CCTV cameras everywhere. Fuck knows if they're turned on or anything. But also, when the fuck is anyone going to look at that? Monday morning? When it's too fucking late? You don't know. You know, I'm all for unisex toilets and stuff. But the sheer fact that there is no security if shit goes down is fucking ridiculous. That is such a hazard. And this was a bloke in the women's toilets, not even saying I'm a woman or any pretending to be trans or anything like that. He put his hood up and he put a mask on his face to cover, so you could only see his eyes, and you could see he was smiling because obviously the mask was raising up onto his face. It was a face mask. It wasn't like a balaclava mask. And and that was it. And I think that's fucking crazy. That, thank Christ, you know, it wasn't just me there. Thank Christ the woman thought it was suspicious. Thank Christ, like, my kid's dad's there, because if my child ever went in the toilet on her own, fuck knows what would happen. But I'm definitely not like that anyway. I'm like, I'm just going to hover around the wash it, you know, the sinks and stuff, or I'll hang around the door areas and stuff. And I will look like a creepo waiting in the girls' toilets, and I don't give a fuck because I want to make sure my kid is safe. All my children are safe. And so that was a bit fucking terrifying. But apart from that, it was great. I mean, obviously fucking London traffic and everything else. Ugh. You know, like, literally, I've said before, if there wasn't for museums and events going on in London, I would never go to London. But, you know, went to a nice Middle Eastern place. We've been before. And it's like what do they call it? Louisiana's or something? And yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Even my children were like, I'm going to try a bit of spice. So at least, you know, they're trying. But and then we went to the, what's it called, a box place or something by Wembley. That's a pretty, like, it's weird because I think, Christ, am I going to be like walking into a gig? But it's like, it's basically having street food, but inside. It's basically like a market like that. Or what do you call it, food court. And nice. And a lot of those places don't endorse Coca-Cola and stuff. It's from like Sierra Leone or Palestine and stuff. So it was like, oh, nice. So go to those places. Nice. Well, don't go to the fucking Civic Centre because no safety. No fucking safety unless you're actually going there for whatever they do in their library and God knows what else they do at the centre. But just be wary. There's pickpocketers around. I don't think he was going to sexually attack, but you never know, innit? Like, anything could happen. Unfortunately I had to think like before when I've been attacked by men and just think, well, Charles' dad is 6 foot. He is not 6 foot, this guy, so fuck it, let's bring him in. And it worked. He fucked off quite quickly when he knew I made him hover around the toilets while I went to see if I can find any staff. But yeah, be careful. I'd like to also point out, like, the most people I fucking hate on the internet is people that are telling their experience, and you get then knobheads commenting saying, oh, but my life is a fucking magical dreamland and I've had no trouble whatsoever. And they just say all this random shit to stand up for horrible people. It fucking boggles my mind. Like, there was a teacher on TikTok and she was saying how her students were having a discussion about fuck it, Hitler. And they were like, the reason why he was so angry is because of his genitals were fucked. And he has these health conditions with it. And it was just like, it was an interesting story. And then I looked it up and was like, oh God, yeah, he did. But it's shit like that. People always have to, like, if someone like magically finds out what a word means, they use it incorrectly, or they use it as an excuse for someone being a prick. I've seen it so much, like when a man is still being incompetent and people go, oh, maybe he's got autism or something. Oh, well, he did say he's got mental health. I'm sorry, but if you are a full-blown adult and you've been independent for quite a few years, away from little mummy's Percy strings and apron strings, there is no fucking excuse for you to be a massive fucking tool. I don't get how you all fucking still stand up for this. It's cut my family off. Fine, whatever. No news to me. There's no fucking news to me. I couldn't give a shit. But it's the fact that, because I am nosy, that you look at it and straight away it's blaming the wife. Oh, well, Nicola or Nicole or whatever her name is. Oh, well, she is a billionaire. Oh, well, yeah, it was probably her in it telling him to cut him off. Oh, well, he wouldn't be famous if it wasn't for his parents. Well, of course he wouldn't. He's a nepo baby. But you can be the bully kid and you can be the bullied kid and you could be the bully and you could be horrible and you could be the kindest and you could be so grateful and you can be so spoiled and ungrateful and you could be a nepo baby and not a nepo baby and you can still believe that they've gone through abuse just because you're jealous of their lifestyle or because you like David Beckham or Victoria Beckham. Doesn't mean that's an excuse for their shit behaviour. Now, I believe Brooklyn. I do. I mean, to him, abuse would be completely different to maybe a few other people and everything, because abuse is not always a violent thing. That's also what pisses me off about people online, especially men, where they go, well, you didn't hit her, so how's that abuse? Or you didn't do this, so why is this abuse? Why is this misogyny? They didn't hit her, didn't kick her in the goolies or smack her ass, shit like that, right? It doesn't have to be physical to be classed as abuse, okay? And I'm all for people cutting their families off. If it's not their vibe, not their bag, not their thing, you didn't ask to be born. Let's say that cop out. You weren't asked to be born. So it's not up to you to look after your parents. It's not up to you to look after other family members. They have had children for a selfish, patriarchal thing. They haven't had children for any other thing, okay? They're not thinking because I want to make the world better or whatever. You're not thinking like that at all. You're thinking in a selfish way. And all your people are telling you to have children, forcing you to have kids without you thinking it's forced. Once again, it doesn't have to be physical to be controlled. And that's what a lot of people don't seem to get. If he wants to cut his family off, he can cut it off. The sheer fact that people are saying it's like Harry and Meghan and all that shit. Or, when they get divorced, you'll become running back. Good. Then as a family, you should be there to support. Because at the end of the day, you had him. So unfortunately, for you, improve yourselves and you do all the running to him. And then you just wait. But you shouldn't cut off your child because he's cutting you off. You should always try and reconcile. You should. He shouldn't. You should. Because if he generally thinks he's gone through shit, then it's your problem. It's your problem that that's happened. And you shouldn't pretend that it's his fault. It's not. But obviously, the Beckham thing is just a complete distraction, because later on you find out about fucking Donald Trump doing Greenland shit again and Russell Brand being charged again with sexual charges and being granted fucking bail, trying to run off to America again. You're just getting all these cases again, and every time there's media seems to try and make a very pointless, unimportant thing popular. When everyone shuts the hell up about it, finally, because we're so obsessed with being sucked in with marketing, we can't help being sucked into marketing. But when we stop looking at it, these pointless fucking stories that does not fucking change our life, whatever, we usually then find out that it's the same week that some horrendous historical thing that will change people's life has happened. And yeah, that's marketing for you. That's politics for you. It's capitalism for you, But yeah, just because you're a bully person, or in your eyes you think they're a bully person, or they're a nepo baby, or they were the quiet kid, or they were a kind kid, or well, they said that they were very nice at one stage. So what is it? They can't be horrible and then you say they're nice. Yes, you can. Because if you're being controlled and abused, you always pretend that person is nice and everything's your fault. And it's not your fault. We are so obsessed with making the bully girl or bully boy the villain and be completely cop out and say, well, there you go, they deserve then the abuse. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with you lot? Like, the comments are so horrendous. It's the same as, like, with misogyny as well, and patriarchy. There's been a teacher that was, like, sexually abusing children, and she's in prison for, like, 8 years or something. And it was the fact that everyone was so excited it was a female teacher. And they were like, oh, look at him, fucking cock, simp, oh, loser, fucking prick. Why the fuck would you dob in your teacher? I would have loved it if a hot teacher like that tried to fuck me. And it's like, what the fuck? And then people are there going, why aren't women fixing our abusive ways? Why aren't women liking us? Because this is why people don't like feminism, because they hate the fact that women are not man-hating only. They women hate too. Because we're here for being equal. We're not here for going, well, fuck it, it's a woman, fuck it. No, the ones that are saying, fuck it, when a woman does something really fucking horrendous, is men, boys and men, going, fuck it, he deserved it. That's what men do, to men and women and children. And it's fucking gross. It is fucking gross. The amount of people that I've seen comment on women doing horrendous crime to children or to a pensioner or a partner, and everyone just goes, oh, yeah, well, I would want to be killed by her because she's dog ugly or fat or ugly, whatever. Or it'll be like, well, why the fuck would you give a shit? I would die in heaven if I could fucking have a go on that. It's like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? What the fuck is wrong with you? And you're trying to make out it's women that are being pricks online. It's always been men and children being pricks online. And it's also women who are men-centred who are pricks online. Because they also... It's like I listened to, those stories, Am I the Arsehole? And there's this girl, she was like, am I the arsehole because I was a teacher assistant for a neighbour's daughter and I used to babysit her now and again. And the dad keep calling her, ringing and calling, all because she felt pressured to give her number to him because she knew him. And then he tried to give her a lift home, but then he rang her 19 times. Then she changed her number. Then she changed her email. Then she told the police. Then she told her boss. And the boss straight away was like, well, I've known him for years. What the fuck are you talking about? He wouldn't do shit like that. But she changed her number multiple times and email addresses as well. Afterwards, no one wanted to give a shit. And you had all these women going, well, it's her fault though, innit? She shouldn't have given a number. She's changed her number, mate, multiple times. And email. And she doesn't work where she worked anymore because he keep bothering her that much. And yet, all these women going, well, it's her fault. It's all this fucking victim piss and blaming, innit? Always is. Same as when this company Smoosh, or Smosh, whatever the fuck they call them. I like watching them. But there's one that pissed me off is where a girl said, I don't want help from my boyfriend. And then he was like, you shouldn't be walking home at night after going out. So he offered to pick her up. He came anyway. She told me he's a fucking idiot. Got home. They had a argument, not a fight, an argument. And she went, I can fucking take on anyone. Fucking leave me alone. Then he got her in a fucking chokehold and went, see? And it's like, you've just now scared the fuck out of her. Because you haven't taught her a lesson. You've taught her a lesson, not that men outside are dangerous. You've taught her a lesson that men inside are dangerous. And then the woman that was on the settee went, well, that was the most, and the main bloke that does it, he was like, well, that's a stupid thing to be. And all of a sudden, they were pre-victim blaming her. You shouldn't be that cocky. You shouldn't be that stupid to walk around at this time at night. Like, yeah, they were shouting about this man getting her in a fucking chokehold. But it's the fact that you then turned it into shouting about this poor girl who luckily didn't experience any abuse at all or any dangerous situation before he fucking did that. And yet they were like, well, I do martial arts, and even I probably couldn't do it because it's a shock of surprise and you can't take them down. But yet you hear all these fucking stories, don't you, about martial arts and people picking on the wrong people and fucking getting their ass kicked and all that shit. So you're right for men to have that story, but when a girl's like, I do martial arts, all of a sudden it's, oh yeah, but you still wouldn't be able to take them by surprise. You wouldn't be able to do that because we're in a good... No, the story should be, what a fucking arsehole. I hope she fucking rang the police, because most women and children die at the hands of someone they know, and mostly someone in their own household. They die in their own house, or someone they know's house, more than someone on the fucking street. And he proved his point by showing that you cannot trust any man because he will be abusive on purpose to pretend he's protecting her, to show her a point. No, thank you. No way in hell you're standing up for that prick in any way just because you got a bit cocky. Who cares? Then you should fucking support her, not fucking physically hurt her. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. All your wording is shit. It always, with men and boys, it always comes down to violence. Using excuse. Well, I didn't hit her. Well, I've never hit her. So that's why it shows I love her. Why are you going into violence? Why are you talking about violence? You shouldn't be fucking violent. What are you fucking talking about? Stop fucking doing that. It's fucking weird that you all do that. Your wording for most subjects are fucking weird. Like I said, men just seem to glorify war all the time. Even if you think you're a pacifist and all that shit, every time you talk about idolising a prick from history, he's usually been a cunt to women and children. He usually fucking has. He usually didn't have a fucking clean record at all. Like, it boggles my mind completely when people still have Mahatma Gandhi on everything. He used to fuck minors to stop his urges. Fuck off, you pedo. Also, his wife is dying. You can't go to hospital. Second, he gets what his wife had. I need to go to hospital. What a fucking prick. And she died because of him. What a fucking prick. Fucking ridiculous, all of you. You stand up for people you like all the time just because they said one thing that was nice, or they're in a film and like, oh my god, I can't fucking deal with this. So I don't know what happened behind closed doors with the Beckham family. None of us do. And honestly, I don't care enough about the details to speculate. But I did know exactly what would happen. The moment Brooklyn statement about his parents coming out, I knew within hours one or both of the women in the story would be dragged. And I wasn't wrong. It took less than a day for social media to fill it with parody videos of mocking Victoria Beckham's dancing and comments calling her a bitch and a mean girl. At the same time, Nicola Peltz was also immediately cast as the puppet master, the wife behind the statement, the villain pulling the strings. Once again, no one is talking about the men whilst the women take the hits. We've seen the patterns so many times, it should be obvious by now. Like Meghan Markle, Amber Heard, countless others. Yet people still don't seem to notice how easily and enthusiastically they turn on women. To be clear, this isn't defending Victoria or Nicola. I don't know them. Everything Brooklyn said may be completely true. That's not the point. The point is, why isn't David Beckham being mocked for the same glee? Why is it so easy to assume Brooklyn was pressured by his wife rather than recognising that he's an adult man with agency? Why do we always reach for the story where the woman is the problem? Because tearing women down is easy. It's familiar and it's cultural sanctioned. And here's the thing that really doesn't sit well with me. When people use words like inappropriate to describe a woman's behaviour, how she dances, how she speaks, how she exists, I always pause. You always never hear that word used about men in the same way. Women are expected to behave appropriately according to standards set by patriarchy. And when we laugh along, mock and pile on, even casually, we're reinforcing a double standard that keeps women in check. So no, this isn't about picking sides in a family story I don't know. It's about noticing how quickly women are blamed, ridiculed and reduced, and asking ourselves why we're so comfortable at participating in it. For me, that's the part worth talking about. So there's going to be quite a few sad stories in the next few chats, I think. And then I think I'm going to go on about chats where what countries are shit at, what countries have been very shit at, and others that have been great at, that we've taken advantage of, colonised, been disgusting towards. And I think I'm going to start doing that. Just because it's such a fucking headache looking at constant shit all the time. You know, like I just recently seen a man get shot dead by ICE again, in different angles again, and he was protecting women. So he was in the middle of the road. ICE have all got out of the fucking cars like fucking donuts, Tweedledee and Tweedledums, and these women were protesting to get ICE out, and ICE obviously shouting at them, shouting abuse at them. They shouted at them, go away. So they pepper sprayed them all. This woman fell over, and this woman got hit in the face with pepper spray. So this man came over, that was the one that was filming in the middle of the road, and he tried to stop it, and he was hunched over. The man got dragged and pulled apart from the other woman he was supporting. And what I thought he was getting pepper spray. So he got pepper sprayed and he was on the floor. They dog piled on this man. And I thought they pepper sprayed him again, but all of a sudden the cowards separated from him and backed off very quickly. And it turned out that they shot him. They shot him. So I looked at the video again and again, and you can see in slow motion an ICE knob pull his gun out and shoot him. This is when they're fucking dogpiling on the man. The man is not fighting and punching. He's got no weapons. His weapon only he's got on him is his phone, recording them. And it's fucking gross that all these people get told that they're far-right agitators and rioters, even when they've been proven that they sound more what Trump goes on about, being Christian, valued people, than any cunt that follows him. And I haven't seen a statement yet of what the Home Secretary will say, but it'll probably say stuff like that. It'll probably say he's far left, and he's an agitator, and he's a rioter, and he caused something or other, violence and hate and things like that. I don't understand how you can stand up for an orange ball bag when he uses AI fucking for everything he does, and he changes appearances of people that he does not like because they're saying the truth about what a cunt he is. And yet you believe him and his group when they say that these are horrible terrorist anti-American people, even though you've got full footage, real uncut footage from many angles, and you all still say, see, AI, what the fuck? Donald Trump's the one that uses AI, not these bloody people that got fucking murdered. You fucking freaks supporting that prick. So unfortunately, I'm gonna, like I said, talk about horrible shit like I always do, but screw it. We should normalise how much a bunch of freaks there is out there, and we should never ever stop awareness. We shouldn't blame people at all for getting them into this situation. They're not in a situation. Dangerous people make them into a situation. So unfortunately, mourners gathered today to remember Ralph and Keith Lithgow and their unborn daughter Kate at a funeral at Belfast. The married couple, who were looking forward to shortly welcoming their first child, were killed in a 2-car collision near Belfast earlier this month. It was a tragedy that rocked the local community, with a huge crowd in attendance, remembering and paying tribute to the loving couple. They were spoken fondly, and the love and the excitement of welcoming Kate in the world. They wanted to pour the love that they had for each other into a new life. Michael Yorombi, a church pastor and self-styled prophet, has been convicted of multiple heinous crimes involving the sexual abuse of children over a period of 2 decades. He targeted seven victims, starting when they were children as young as 8 years old, and continued his abuse into their adulthood. His crimes included repeated rape, indecent assault, abuse under false pretenses of holy baths, which he has claimed that ward off evil spirits. Fucking gross. He used his religious influence to exert control over his victims, some who he told that refusing his advantage would result in failing exams or becoming a witch. One girl reportedly underwent 5 or 6 abortions during secondary school after Rapey McRapenson, or Brundy, booked them into the clinics under false names. He pretended that he wasn't assaulting these children. He just said, I was washing them. I was giving them spiritual baths. So he was arrested in May 2018 at Birmingham Airport as he attempted to flee the UK. So yeah, this isn't just happening in Africa or Asia or anywhere else continent. It is happening in Europe, my loves. During the police interrogation, he confessed to his crimes, describing himself as an animal, expressing remorse, saying everything was my fault. He was convicted of 15 rapes, 7 accounts of indecent assault, 2 sexual assaults. And his wife was found guilty of aiding and abetting 3 accounts of rape. That's lovely, isn't it? This is why, no matter what, I could not give a fuck. And I do not separate religion from the nice to the bad, because you've always got some fucker that is doing this kind of shit to women and children, boys and girls, somewhere in the religion. Religion is only around to control people and to make money. That is it. That is why I'm not religious. I went through all the religious shit, and they did not help me whatsoever when I went through anything. I even got assaulted by religious people. Don't really fucking get it why people still harp on that they are Christians and, these people aren't true Christians. I couldn't give a fuck. You're both the same. you will separate religion all of a sudden, but you won't separate religion if someone's doing something positive. Then you won't separate it, but you'll separate it if that person's doing something bad. There is fucking millions of people throughout history that have said that they were religious and they've done bad shit, and yet you still love being controlled. I don't know what you think you're getting out of it, apart from money and controlling people. It's fucking weird. So there's a chilling motive of an ex-IRS agent accused of brutally murdering his wife and a stranger has been revealed in court. Brendan Banfield and Nanny Gianni Preze impersonated Christine Banfield on social media site for sexual fetishes, the Virginia Love Triangle murder trial. So this was a typical man loser. Pretended he was in love with his au pair, so nanny, to look after the kids, with his wife kids. And she was 21, so I think being groomed. Fuck it, being groomed, I don't give a shit. She was being groomed. And he said it's much easier to get rid of her than divorce her. And so he came up with this idea to think, aha, I'm a knobhead, to pretend to set up profiles on BDSM websites and pretend to people that it was Christine talking to people, but actually it was the 21-year-old and the husband talking to men, saying, oh, I'm really into rape fantasy BDSM. So he was going to drug his wife and make the person come to the house through the garage, and then knife his wife and knife the man, so he could blame the man, saying, I was actually trying to save my wife, but accidentally killed her. So he becomes the hero, and probably GoFundMe fucking pages, because I know you all like that sort of shit, like you did with that fucking ICE officer. He's a fucking millionaire now, because he murdered Renee. Cunt. Not Renee, the man and the people that fucking gave the money to him. Yeah. And that's what he did. He killed her inside their home, obviously. And in the end, they just staged it to look like they had shot an intruder, and was attacking Christine with a knife. And obviously he pleaded not guilty. What a fucking loser. All because he didn't want to get divorced. And he wanted to have his middle-age life crisis of running away with a foreign au pair, 21-year-old fantasy shit. Like, you watch too much porn, mate. You watch too much fucking porn that you would do that. So she pled guilty to a lesser charge of manslaughter. But he didn't. And then 4-year-old child was at the house. And he was also charged for child abuse and felony child cruelty in connection with the case. He is also facing charges during the aggravated murder trial. So, yeah, that's that. That's a lovely man. That's a lovely man. And then another thing. So we got David Cornvalley. He's 56 years old. Another loser. Contracting detention officer in South Louisiana ICE Processing Center. Entered a guilty plea in federal court and admitted to sexually abusing a woman who was held by ICE custody at the facility. He had been doing that for months. And my last chat, I did say that people in charge of ICE said, we don't give a shit if they're sexually assaulting anyone in there because they're criminals. But they're not criminals. They're just random public that you're just randomly fucking taking off the street, including a 4-year-old used as bait to lure people out. You stole a 4-year-old and detained them, or detained him because he was a 4 or 5-year-old little boy, and you detained him so you enticed people to come out of their houses. What the fuck? I think we're really shocked because this hasn't happened to us white people since World War II, where obviously everyone else who's in the minor communities and the oppressed communities, they're like, this happens to us all the fucking time. You only give a shit because it's on your doorstep, literally on your doorstep now. And you're taking notice. Because you've got stuff like this. Trafficking, disproportionately, impacts... I'm trying to shout over rain. It's storming here again. Woo! Irish weather. Woo! Impacts native communities. Nearly 40% of individuals involved in sex trafficking are surveyed sites identified as native. Over 30% of trafficked native women reported foster care involvement. 79% experienced childhood sexual abuse. These realities demand preparation, protection and solutions in centred communities. This is a person you should never ever support, okay? So I am going to wreck bad women on here, okay? It's not just men I like to fucking charge at. It seems like it because men do a lot of fucking terrible shit all the time. Women do terrible shit too, and it's usually, when you look at it, they've done it for a bloke, okay? They've usually filmed shit for a bloke, or they've usually done it for a bloke. And they will, high heaven, fucking just guard them. It's so weird. Like this knobhead. So this is Brittany Stapleton. I don't give a shit if you're a sex offender for the next 75 years. I just want you out. So that's Brittany Stapleton said in one of the series of a newly released jailhouse calls at Gulf Coast micro-influencer in Florida, right? So her husband, Joshua Stapleton, had in possession hundreds of graphic child sexual abuse images, including pre-pubescent children, bound on playgrounds, and was convicted in 2025, pleading guilty to 20 counts of sexual exploitations of children after a 2020 investigation. In one call, Brittany discussed trolling people online about this ordeal and seems to enjoy it. Despite knowing the charges, she married him in 2023 and defends him on social media. So Stapleton was sentenced 5 years, that's all, 5 years in prison, 15 on probation for child exploitation. Fucked, innit? Fucked, because that means his wife can harbour whatever he fucking wants because she doesn't have a record. So that's what will happen. Thank you very much. You let some new sex trafficking fucking group happen now. Knobs. So the ICAC tip led to charges over abusive images downloaded between 2018 and 2020. Online fallout. Wife responds to backlash, says misinformation is spreading. Fuck off. So do not support Brittany or Joshua Stapleton because they're fucking paedophiles. She's technically not one, but she technically is because she's allowing that. The pick me, man-centered women, I fucking hate you. I really do. A woman was jailed for 3 years after posting naked photos of her dad's mistress on an escort site and said she isn't remorseful. Eleanor Brown, 26, has a deep-seated grudge against her victim since she was a child after her dad Jeff cheated on her mum with her. The affair partner, who cannot be named for legal reasons, worked alongside Jeff as a police officer. But after ending the affair, they both stayed with their respective spouses. The short-lived affair happened in 2012, but in 2022, Brown noticed the woman's husband had started a business. She took to the comments on its Facebook page, calling his wife a home-wrecking slag and a tramp. I'm glad she's getting charged for that, because what the fuck? Once again, what is with women defending men being pricks? Yes, she should be embarrassed and exposed, but not fucking put her in a dangerous situation where you put her on an escort site. This woman could have ended up being fucking raped or attacked because she's pretended there's a fucking client coming, and men can get abusive. The amount of sex workers I follow online, not I just follow them, online, and they say how this is why we need laws protecting them, because the amount of men that have agreed to pay certain acts to happen and they don't think it's worth the money. So when they turn up, they were like, actually, I want this, and that, and the other. And then they beat the shit out of them, and fucking awful stories. The lovely headlines that popped up is son charged with stabbing his mum to death. Two teenagers arrested on suspicion of murdering after a 15-year-old was killed in a woodland, which turns out it was 2 boys that murdered another boy. A woman found guilty of keeping house slave for 25 years. That is fucking gross. That was fucking gross. So this woman she fostered children, and this child was an immigrant, and it can be man or woman. It can be man or woman who does fucking gross shit to children. And the sheer fact that you get on this fucking man power trip shit. No thank you. Man life shit. Well, then why the fuck would you want to cause pain to others? Fucking hell, improve yourself. Fucking gross. Fucking gross. She should be fucking put to death, that silly cow. What's the use of her in society? Fucking no, thank you. I know that's extreme, but I don't give a shit. Blaming girls and women that they need to cover because men can't control themselves in a ridiculous. You are taking responsibility off men for saying this. Men are being confronted with the fact they are not the protectors they thought themselves to be. Women whose husbands are minimising and diminishing concerns over the current stats continue to state of things that are not just for themselves, but their neighbour and community. Husbands are invalidating concerns and fears instead of providing a safe space for their wives to express their fears and emotions right now. I think it's because most men were never taught how to actually provide and protect in a healthy emotional way. So when their wives come to them with their fears and anxieties, they don't know what to do, so they diminish and minimize, which ultimately does not show the wife that they're not the safe space. They're not a protector of their peace. Man-centered women and tampons. Okay, this is a weird one, but the weirdest thing about women is the ones that want to still carry on with patriarchy and want to make men inferior, right? When I was reading the stories online, and it's shit like, my sister-in-law came over to my house for Christmas. My tampons were on the side of the bathroom, but she came out screaming, and how dare should men know that we have periods? What the fuck is wrong with you? You are a shit mother if you're going to act like that at someone else's fucking house. Also, it's completely natural for people with uteruses and people that have periods. I don't fucking stand these women that act bully girls. Like, you're not the fucking prize pig here, my love. You will fail. Your husband is most likely a prick if you think that you have to point out normal stuff but act like it's weird. I do not get that. It's the same as people that laugh at people being gamers or they collect stuff and then they take the piss out of them and go, oh, how childish, you collect toys and blah, blah, blah. But you're spending thousands of pounds on skincare, hair appointments, because that's important to you. And that's fucking fine. It's your own fucking money, love, you know? But don't come up at people who aren't into sport, but they collect other shit and make fun of them for it. Man and woman, this is. This isn't just women against women here. This is men and women, woman and man, women and woman, man and man, whatever, right? Just because you do things differently in your own fucking house, if it's not against the fucking law, and no one's getting fucking hurt, and you're not getting fucking hurt, and you're happy and healthy in that situation, then fucking leave it, you know? I'll fuck come around my house and point. So this is 2 guys now. I had a friend, well, I have a friend, I have a friend where he's pagan, okay? He's a Norse pagan. He has Odin bust on his wall, and he generally told me I had to take the Odin bust down because my friend comes over and takes the piss out of me. I said, what the fuck are you talking about? He said, yeah, he doesn't like people with alternative beliefs. I said, hang on, this is the same guy who advertises a very well-known Glastonbury, Somerset, UK, England, Southwest England shop, okay, that only shows and only sells witch stuff, Norse stuff, and pagan stuff. Oh, and Celtic stuff. But he always says he goes there, and he also advertises it and promotes it. So what are you talking about? And he said, oh, he's just not in. I said, I know. He's one of these knobs where he knows he can control people. He knows it. He knows you're a vulnerable bloke. The poor bloke's been through a fucking lot of shit, okay, personally. He knows that you are vulnerable. So he has taken something that's personal to you and tried to fuck it. Why the fuck are you changing your house for this one bloke who's meant to be your mate? If he's your mate, he should support you. You're not supporting child porn and shit. You know, you're doing your belief. So weird, you know? Like, I don't like religion. I fucking hate religion. Like I said, it's all about control. When you look into it, it's always controlling women and children and all this, right? And you're trying to make money out of it, blah, blah. But if someone is religious in my life, I don't go, I fucking can't be friends with you because you're religious. Or take that shit down. No, that is nothing to do with me on that side. That has nothing to do with me. As long as you're not trying to convert me into anything or think I'm going to be sitting down with you and you're going to then the reason why is so you can make me try and hypnotize me to try and fucking join it. I ain't doing it. I'm not going to give you money for it. I'm not going to give you my time for it. I will give you time. If you generally go, how interesting is this? What do you think about it? Fine. Discussions, fine. Love it. Love gaining knowledge of how people get there and do. But do not fucking convert me into anything because I don't fucking want it anymore. I do not want it in my life. I was all in that in my life. I do not want it. Okay? Do not want it. And he was like, yeah, but he's been my friend for 20 years. I said, then you need to cut him off. If he's been your friend for 20 years, then he surely knows that's what you believe in. That's what you're into. And he's just like, yeah, I know. These people are fucking twisted. Leave him alone. For fuck's sake. He's not off doing slaying some children, you know, like, fuck off. Anyway, back to horrendous shit more. Teen killers post together from prison and post on social media bragging about being back together. He needs all his social media to be shut down and blocked. Two of these teenagers who murdered best friends Max Dixon and Mason Ritz in Bristol 2 years ago were inadvertently put together in the same Young Offenders Institute by prison authorities. Oh, isn't that lovely? And then were able to boast about it by posting a picture on social media. What the fuck? The photo of Riley Tovley and Cody Westcott was posted on Snapchat over the new year and prompted a complaint from Mason's family, who were appalled that Westcott was still able to gloat on social media. Captured with a tagline, "Man dem together, 3 knobheads, 3 pricks." That's how I'm going to fucking tag it. The post referenced killer Westcott's rap moniker, which is basically knobhead. Last year, Bristol Live revealed Westcott was able to make drill rap videos from his cell about the murders he committed and post them on Instagram. That prompted an outrage from families and his victims, made worse because the double killer then mocked authorities by setting up a second Instagram account after prison chiefs shut down his first. Now, a year on, Mason's mum Nikki and sister Chloe have complained to the authorities again after the New Year post on Snapchat reached them on social media. Fucking horrendous to fucking see that they're having a fucking whale of a time when their boys have got murdered. Fucking horrendous. Gross. Anyway. Chloe also told Bristol Live that one of the 2 younger murderers, who cannot be named, fuck's sake, for legal reasons, tried to add her on social media just after Christmas. They all have been active on social media saying the gang's back together and so on, said Chloe. You would think the prison would know better than to put them together. It's crazy. Mason's family complained to the prison chiefs and were told that following the report of the social media post, the pairs were split up again. We confirm that none of the codependents are currently in the same establishment. The family were told by prison liaisons, the lazies officers. Wow, yeah. Following the reported social media post, actions were taken to move some of the offenders, they added. It is not always possible to keep co-defenders separate. It's fucking mental, isn't it? It's so fucking weird. So yeah, they posted more pictures around New Year. almost 2 years after they murdered Max Dixon and Mason Ritz. And I found out Cody Wesker had been on his phone again in prison. So this is the mum of Mason. He had posted a picture on his Instagram, Snapchat. The probation service said it had come within the prison. He is not monitored with his visits. He's not monitored with his visits. How can he have a phone during a visit and take a picture of him with his girlfriend and post it on Snapchat? So yeah, unfortunately, Mason Ritz, 15, and Max Dixon, 16, were best friends, murdered in Knoll West, South Bristol, in January 2024. And these boys are meant to be up for like 20 years. I can't see that fucking happening. Can you? Fuck off. Like, I see that so much on TikTok as well, that a lot of prisoners are live on TikTok from their cells and people give them money. No thank you. No fucking thank you. No fucking thank you. More shit. So Jenny Prunty, a brave woman who was speaking out about her paedophile stepdad, was released early from prison. Michael Maloney from Bruff in County Limerick was jailed for 13 years in 2018 for rape and abuse of Jenny, before being sentenced for a further 6 years in 2022 for sexually abusing another stepdaughter in a separate case. Yet Maloney, whose own paedophile father John was jailed in 2019 for indecent and sexual assault, walked free from Midlands prison just 2 weeks ago. Maloney was a model prisoner and, due to the standard remission, was freed early. He is now being housed somewhere in Limerick and has presented as homeless to the local county council, and has been seen with his father in the city after John was freed early in 2022. Isn't that romantic? Two paedophiles roaming the streets of Limerick. Scrummy. Brave Jenny, who was the subject of creepy letter Maloney sent from behind bars in 2022 that said he couldn't wait to see her, has managed to move on with her life and was healing. Yet she has spoken of the shock at discovering her abuser is now free. Jenny, I hope you have fucking more support than those fucking paedophiles. I hope anyone that generally gives a shit about women and children, let's say, get rid of these people. Okay, let's get rid of these people. However you want. However the fuck you want. Okay? I couldn't fathom with Jenny what she's fucking got. She got stalked by letter writing by her stepdad's dad and him. And they both were released, even though they were meant to be in there for only 6 years and all that shit, and then added more because they did more shit that's sexually assaulting children, technically children at the time, and yet they're released. Oh, never mind. The fuck? Oh, this is fucking embarrassing, isn't it? It's fucking embarrassing. It shows how much we really couldn't give a shit about women. We really do not give a shit about children. We really don't give a fucking shit about any fucker. So an interesting thing popped up, and it was about Australia and school uniforms protests. So I thought I'd have a little look at what that meant. And in 1972, in Australia, school uniforms were largely traditional and gendered, featuring shorts and collared shirts, ties, blazers for boys, and girls with skirts, dresses, like Peter Pan collars. I don't know what else, like little, like cute little girly collars you get on little polo shirts. But they began a petition, these girls, for trousers due to growing desires to equal rights of comfort. Styles varied between private, which is more of a British influence, so we're like in uniform clothes. It's not necessarily that strict, but mine was kind of strict, but only because my teacher perverts. But I've said that before about uniform shit. And state schools more casual, where specific colours were like navy, grey, brown common, sportswear often involving boxer shorts for boys, and simply cotton attire for both. Yeah, I remember we had to wear just little knickers for PE, gym, I don't know what else you call it, sport, I don't know. We used to wear little pants, and then they turned into hot pants. They didn't really turn into shorts, proper shorts, like boys' shorts, where you could wear shorts up to your knee shorts. until I was about 13, 14-ish. And then on other occasions, you still had to wear your fucking hot pants, fucking shorts. They were classed as, but they weren't fucking short. And you had to wear a netball skirt. Remember that? The amount of boys that would unhook you to be perverts and fling your bras and all that shit. Oh yes, we had a lot of pervy shit. Boys were allowed to wear full t-shirts, full shorts for quite early on in school. I think it was only the first year or two of primary school that you had to all be in a vest and a pants. It's just fucking weird. I don't understand why the fuck you're in it, but it's like, well, fuck. I know now you can actually wear normal top and shorts, but fucking hell. Like, fucking hell. I wouldn't be shocked if a lot of paedophiles are teachers because, well, it shows a lot of teachers are paedophiles as well. Not everyone, obviously, but because fucking hell, awful. But anyway, back to Australia in 72, and they're pushing for equal rights of clothing. The push for pants, a significant movement, saw girls petition for the right to wear trousers for winter uniform, challenging rigid gender normalities. State schools were generally more informal, while private schools were maintained stricter traditional look. Shorts culture. Boys continue to wear shorts in summer and long-standing Australian tradition. They protest for girls to wear trousers, and they won. They eventually won. But yeah, I don't know why we get this. It's like the volleyball teams and all these other sports now, like Olympic sports we have, and they protest by saying we want to wear proper shorts and shit, and we don't want to be wearing revealing clothes where, you know, basically you see boobs and ass and vaginas hanging out. And it's so weird. You get people going, oh, but it's a tradition. Well, you fucking wear it then. You wear it, you see how fucking self-conscious you are. What the fuck? Must be very fucking horrible to have to wear all that. Because like gymnastics, right? There are minors, like really young minors, already getting like bikini waxes so they wear fucking leotards and shit like that. That never occurred to me that that's what they would be doing. It never occurred to me. And it's only because I follow this guy, and he's like, this dad comes in and he's like, my girl's got a show, she's 13, she needs to get her wax done. And he's like, I'm not very comfortable with seeing a female minor. My girl that was meant to do it is sick. And he was like, I trust you. And he was like, that's great, but I don't want to take any risk in case anything happens. It's, you know, it's just a safety thing. He's not saying he's going to randomly go, cool, what a pair, and attack the girl, but it's for a safety thing. Because especially when this dad's being pushy, you know for a fucking fact that he will cause fucking trouble. So it's not necessarily the girl will accuse him. I think the fucking dad would have accused him. So he did the right thing. But yeah, he said he doesn't wax any female under a woman. Well, a child. He doesn't wax any children. He only waxes women from the age of 21. He said, before then, I don't wax women or children before the age of 21. And he was just like, yeah, but my girl's got, like, they do not give a shit, these people. It's horrendous how much parents will really maybe chuck their kids in a horrendous situation because they need it done now, because someone else has told them they need to get it done, because it's for someone else to get done. It's like, stop living for your child, okay? And unfortunately, you're just going to have to go to a shop and get hair removal cream, and they'll just have to do that for that one show. Because why would you completely accept that you'd be completely okay for a man that says our policy is for our men here do not perform any treatment on any person under the age of 21 if they are opposite gender? And I just find it so fucking weird. So you have this poor woman called Ashley Jordan, when her baby died. It was June 2008, and her newborn Mackenzie was just 3 days old. And the nightmare followed. Ashley and her husband charged with murdering their child in October 2009. They were wrongly convicted. They spent more than a decade in jail. Today, Ashley has spoken to people for the first time. And her husband are now divorced. life in jail for 10 years. And basically, they would have both still been incarcerated if it wasn't the efforts of a complete stranger called Jocelyn Lee, or Lai. L-I. I'm sorry, I'm not sure how you say your surname, because obviously it depends if you're from a certain country. So Ashley and her husband met in the US military and posted to South Korea, married in 2007. She didn't want to be a military mum, moving around with children and stuff, so she discharged from the US military. And then then she had Mackenzie, and then the following few hours she became restless. Ashley noticed a lump on her forehead and breathing erratic. The doctor diagnosed possible jaundice over the phone. My kids have had jaundice. It is horrendous. My kids had to be in a fucking box with lighting, and I couldn't do anything about it. They had to have the whole fucking eye patches over their eyes and everything. It was fucking horrible. They had to be in there for 14 hours in the end to see if that's what it was. It was fucking horrendous. The only time you could sort of give them break was obviously when you had to feed them. To watch a newborn baby go through shit is horrible, because you don't expect it. You know, people make this magical thing that's happened. Even if you've gone through the worst, you hear people that's gone through the worst, they still seem to make it magical, because they tell you something horrendous and then they go, I wouldn't change for the world though, because look how they've changed out, how they turned out. Like, crazy. It's horrible. It is horrible. It's terrifying. Okay, but do trust in it. Do trust in the people that you're there. But it was only diagnosed jaundice over the phone. But as she got worse, the couple rushed her to hospital. Took her. They started working on her. The hospital chaplain came and tried to keep them uplifted. And then about 3 hours later, came in and said Mackenzie has passed away. So after Mackenzie died, they got interviewed at the police and searched their apartment. An autopsy the following day lasted less than an hour. The same day, the couple were arrested, charged with murder, and put in county jail. It was the last time they were together as husband and wife. A year later, a judge, Nobed Douglas Pullen, a medical examiner, testified that Mackenzie had suffered severe head trauma after being stomped on. Not call for any medical experts. A doctor, Ashley's attorney, had planned to call, wasn't available, and the judge declined a requested delay. And Ashley and her husband could not explain why Mackenzie died, obviously, because they're going through fucking shock. They can't grieve here, look. The prosecution dismissed the notion that the baby could have suffered injuries during birth. Bullshit. They can. They do it before. They can get injured before birth, during birth, and after birth. And meaning before birth, meaning in pregnancy, at any fucking time. The jury anonymously told that to convict the couple, they only had to find a reasonable doubt. The pair's criminal trial was held before Judge Nobed Pullen. He resigned from the bench in 2011 over the mishandling of a child molestation case. Oh, isn't that fucking convenient? Another man that doesn't give a shit about children again. Oh, bet he was his mate. I bet that person, or she or he, was their mate. That's why he had fucking stepped down, because it was one of your fucking sex trafficking mates. I bet Judge fucking Douglas Pullen, you prick. So both parents were convicted for malice murder, felony murder, child abuse, and sentenced to life in prison with a 30-year minimum tariff. When they gave the verdict, it was like the roles were reversed. My ex-husband sat there in shock. I hit the floor crying and remember screaming and crying and hearing my family cry as well. It was just one word and it changed my whole life. Guilty. They spent the next few years looking for a retrial. 2 years later, after the conviction, single mum Jocelyn, who was working as a cocktail waitress, appeared in front of Judge Pullen in a routine custody hearing involving her ex and 2 eldest children. She was shocked by his conduct in court. He made misogynistic comments and accused her of being a know-it-all from Atlanta at the end of the hearing, and he gave her ex-boyfriend custody. A year later, she got them back, but vowed to get revenge on the judge. Good. I hope you fucking stop me, to be honest. What was that? Sorry, never mind. What I saw and heard in his court was disturbing, she explained. He was completely dismissive of attorneys and parents. He was abhorrent, rude and cruel. He was not fit to be on the bench. Correct. Douglas Pullen was a controversial figure. He had been censured by the US Supreme Court for jury fixing, ensuring that black defendants, because remember Ashley, the mum, is black, by the way, were tried by all-white juries. What the fuck is this? The 1950s? Fuck. In 2011, he resigned from the bench after admitting he had let molestation case fall through the cracks. He stepped down ahead of the ethics investigation. Jocelyn, who wanted to go to law school, became to research Pullen's case history. Looking at press reports at the old cases she found horrified her. It was like he ran a kangaroo court in a nightmare Southern Gothic story. In one case, he told a litigant, "In here, I am God and I am the law." She said, she didn't go, but I said that. She says, he thought he said he was God in law. When she found news reports of Ashley's case, she immediately suspicious. One article mentioned that her difficult labour was discussed at trial was overruled. No one spoke about the birth after that. I wanted to get the court's records. When Jocelyn got them, she realised the only medical records submitted at the trial that were from the emergency room in September 2012. Jocelyn, who was married and had a young child by then, wrote to both Ashley and her husband to tell them she thought they were innocent and she wanted to help them. Jocelyn wrote a letter to Ashley after becoming convicted of her innocence. She recalls, "At first I thought it was a hoax. I called my mum and I read her letter. She said, 'Ashley, you've already been knocked down as hard as you can go. There is no way you can go from here but up. I can't harm you.' To reply and see what she's talking about." For the next 2 years, Jocelyn lived and breathed the case. She spent her life savings of $20,000 working on files, emails, trying to get up a case. She broke through when she came across Mackenzie's medical scans, that was never offered as trial. She discovered there had been warning signs of possible birth defects in the hospital after birth. Mackenzie ate less than normal on her second day and her head circumference had increased 10 times more than normal. Took almost 2 years and 2 more hearings before the Georgia Supreme Court overturned decisions and squashed the original convictions. Ashley and her ex-husband were released from prison in 2020. And what is lovely is she walked away free from court and was handed her daughter's ashes. And then Ashley is quoted that was the first time of holding her since she went to hospital and I gave her to the nurses. It was a very emotional time. Gosh, that is awful, isn't it? In 2021, all charges against the pair were dismissed. The City of Columbus decided there were not enough evidence of a new trial. Mark Jones, the district attorney, told the judge there was mounting medical evidence that says the child was born this way. He apologised to them both. In September 2022, Douglas Pullen died. Ugh. Got fucking nothing for that prick. So obviously now Ashley is now looking forward to, and I fucking hope you get this, my love, compensation for the years that they were in prison from the state. And go for it. You need to fucking get it. You need to fucking get it. She now lives in Colorado with her new partner and works as a case manager for adults with learning disabilities. Good on you, love. She has a degree in health administration, specialising in healthcare management. She's also a certified life coach. In prison, she got a degree in theology and graduated the culinary school as a sous chef. Nice one. I figured I might as well do something, so I went to school. Meanwhile, Jocelyn qualified as a paralegal, used her expertise assisting false abuse cases and rare genetic cases. The woman remains close friends. Nice. That is beautiful. After an unimaginable nightmare, Ashley is finally in a place where she can start living again. That is fucking beautiful. Ashley, Albert, the ex-husband, and Jocelyn, I hope for you to have the best life that you possibly ever could as a human for the rest of your life, because fucking hell, you all have gone through horrendous shit and you have done so much. And you do amazing job. You've got amazing jobs of helping other people instead of self-wallowing. And that is so amazing of you. On a slightly nicer note. So in Denmark, they don't teach kids to be the best in the room. They teach them to make the room better. Since 1993, every Danish child between 6 and 16 years old takes a weekly empathy class. Not as a bonus, as a core curriculum. The outcomes: 6.3% bullying rate, lowest in Europe. 60% of schoolwork is collaborative. Students build stronger careers and relationships in adulthood. neuroscience confirmed that Denmark has practiced for decades empathy physically changed the brain. It strengthens regions for emotional regulation and perspective taking. Here's what adults can learn. When you focus on making others better instead of proving you're the best, people don't just listen. They lean in, they trust you, they follow. This is what separates high performers from high impact ones. Competence gets you considered, but empathy and trust gets you chosen. That's what makes you unignorable. And that's from Chris Slapping. I don't know if you know, but there's girl bands and shit all the time. So this girl, a woman, sorry, I keep saying girl. It's because I feel much older than everyone all the time, but we're sort of not many years difference. So I think she's from Little Mix. Girl group. She's called Jessie Nelson. So when Jessie Nelson's twin girls were born, no one told her about spinal muscular atrophy, SMA, a rare genetic disease that slowly stole their ability to move. By the time they were diagnosed at 6 months, it was likely too late for a life-changing treatment to have its full effect, and she's been told possibly they won't ever walk. Now Jessie is using her platform to campaign, calling for SMA to be included in standard newborn heel prick test in England when babies are 5 days old. If SMA is treated as soon as after birth, the condition can largely be prevented. Has now met with Health Secretary Wes Streeting. Boo! You fucking don't like kids and women, so I hope you fucking get this way. I mean, I hope because you're that famous that you can push, because he's a cunt. To demand change, pushing all newborns to be screened from birth. Right now on the NHS, evaluations is underway, but it won't be included until 2028. Meanwhile, in Scotland, it's moving faster. From early 2026, all newborn babies in Scotland will be offered screening for SMA through the existing heel prick test, making it the first UK nation to do so, aiming to detect the devastating condition early to prompt treatment. This has been done as a 2-year plot study to collect evidence on how effective the screening is and how best it implies it. Jessie's fight is personal, but her mission could protect every baby born in the future. So go follow her, Jessie Nelson, and have a look at more of what she has gone through as a parent for SMA. Okay, so unfortunately we've got this kind of shit now, haven't we, of more than 90% of deep fake videos online are pornographic in nature, with women almost exclusively the target, according to 2023 Security Hero report. Across Europe, cyberstalking, surveillance and the use of spyware were the most common forms of cyber violence reported by women and girls, according to the latest Women Against Violence Europe, or WAVE, report. WAVE is a network of more than 180 European women NGOs working towards the prevention and protection of women and children from violence. Violence carried out online is often harder to recognise, prove and sanction, leaving many women and girls exposed to harm without adequate protection, the report noted. Online harassment, hate speech and threats were equally widespread and reported in 30 countries. For instance, in Greece in 2023, women made up of 55.3% of victims in online threat cases and 69.6% in cyber stalking cases. More than half of the country's 57% also reported a rise in image-based abuse and non-consensual intimate image sharing. In Denmark, the number of young people experiencing image-based abuse tripled since 2021. The algorithms can quickly spread misogynistic content of large numbers of people, creating close spaces where violence against women and girls are normalised and harmful ideas spread, especially amongst young men, the WAVE report claimed. Growing concerns over sexual explicit images, the rapid development of AI in recent years appears to be accelerated the problem and thrown up even more challenges when it comes to sexually explicit images. Since the beginning of 2026, Grok, the Elon Musk-owned AI chatbot, has responded to a user's prompt to undress images of women, creating AI-generated deepfakes with no safeguarding. A European non-profit that investigates influential algorithm AI forensics analysed over 20,000 images generated by Grok and 50,000 requests made by users, and found 53% of images generated by Grok contained individuals in a minimal attire, of which 80% were individuals presenting as women. In addition, 2% of images depicted people who appeared to be 18 years or over or younger, and 6% of images depicted public figures, approximately 1/3 of whom were public figures. As a response, the platform has implemented new tools to prevent Grok from allowing people to edit people for photos of real individuals wearing revealing clothes. Problem is, it's still fucking going though, isn't it? Like 26,000 indecent pictures are still there. It's fucking gross, isn't it? The Good Samaritan has told jurors he did his best to try and save a woman after she was fatally stabbed at a bus stop in a random attack. Anita Mukie, 66, was alleged set upon by a gory video fanatic, Jala Di Bella, 24, and stabbed 18 times with a hunting knife he's had just brought online. The Old Bailey had heard the robust action had been demanded against the Birmingham mosque after it hosted a preacher who claimed men could possibly discipline their wives. Aqil Ahmad said discipline in a case of rebellion was the right of a husband over his wife. He appeared at Green Lane and Community 7 at Small Heath in December for a sermon where they streamed online calling physical discipline at a last resort. Mahmood said it could have been on the condition it doesn't cause pain, injury, fear or humiliation. Oh my God. Mahmood's remarks were criticised by the National Circular Association, which called for more robust action against charities which it said promoted misogynistic tendencies. Despite being previously advised over misogyny, this charity has gone on to host a sermon condoning the physical discipline of women and prompting high, controlling, sexist attitude towards wives. For far more robust action is needed. Violence against women and other forms of misogyny are clearly not in the public benefit. Yet religious charities appear to get away with it again and again. So in Long Island, in 2011, a woman donated a kidney to her boss who needed a transplant. Her donation went through a paired exchange, ultimately helping her boss get a comparable kidney. After her surgery, she experienced complications and needed time off to recover, but her boss became angry. Within a year, she was fired for performance issues linked to her recovery. She later filed a complaint. It's a rare case that raises serious questions about workplace ethics and how much sacrifice employees should expect to make. Yeah. My God. It's a lot, isn't it? I am going to go now. And, I'll be back again to Chatty McChattinson. Now, I'm not going to try and add anything else to everything I've been typing over the last week because, by God, it scrolls and scrolls and scrolls. I think that's what's, in a way, downfall of having voice notes and using your voice instead of typey. It's made me put so much information on, so I think my brain's a little bit fizzled now. So I'm gonna go now, but keep everyone safe, believe people when they say they're going through something shit, and don't support celebrities because they only want your money. They're not doing a nice thing, they're usually doing it for money, not for you. And if you're happy and healthy, you're not hurting yourself, not hurting anyone, you're listening, you're learning with empathy, crack on with life. Bye.